Welcome to another edition of Dishin with Dave here inside the Rose Hill Gym alongside Fordham Director of Athletics Dave Roach, Emmanuel Berbari. Dave, thanks so much for joining us. Happy New Year.
No, always great to see you, Manny. Happy New Year to you, and let's hope for a great 2020.
2019, 3 NCAA tournament appearances on this campus. Any New Year's resolutions for 2020 in Fordham
Well, we
Athletics?
never really kind of say this is the number of championships we've got to win or whatever. I mean, really, we always say kind of we want to make sure our student athletes have a great experience. And for us, a great experience is having success too. And I think, last year winning 3, 2 in the spring was a great year and a culmination of a lot of great things. And as I always say, it's all about the student athletes, and to see what they were able to do was really satisfying.
Now, with the student athletes back on campus for the new year, a new semester as well, what would be the message to them as they embark on their new studies and the athletics?
Well, I happened to read a great book over the break called Living with the Monks. And one of the things that came out of that was, as you're preparing for what you want to do, whether it's academically, in life, or athletics, when you're doing things, you should say to yourself, am I doing enough? Can I do a little bit more? But the question kind of is, if I do it or not, how am I going to feel tomorrow when I get the results if I back off and take the easy route? So it's always kind of, you can do more than you think possible. And I think it's our job and the coach's job to get our student athletes to realize that they could always do more than they actually feel like they can. And I call it being comfortable being uncomfortable, and taking yourself out of your comfort zone and doing more, whether it's in the library or whether it's on the field of play.
Shifting over to the basketball teams, in the thick of the season now, men's basketball, 6-10, a little bit of a rough start to conference play. That loss against Duquesne, where they actually battled an undefeated A-10 team into overtime, was that a little encouraging that -3 of the top 4 scorers, they were able to show that fight?
I mean, for me, what it shows is that there's great effort there. No one's given up. Nobody's feeling sorry for themselves. And to go into Duquesne and play what I would say as well as we did. And let's face it, we're really good defensively. We're either first or second in the league in points given up defensively. And we're having trouble scoring. But to watch that game and see our kids battling and really having 2 shots to win, the ball at the end of regulation, the ball at the end of overtime, shot goes in, we get the game. But for me, it shows that as much as we had higher expectations and we're disappointed with the results so far, our coaches and our kids are really working hard, and they haven't given up by any stretch of the imagination.
You mentioned those expectations. First time we're able to catch up mid-season. Entering the slate of games this season, how does this result stack up with what you expected to see from this team?
Well, we expected to win some more games, have a better start, but things, as we know in life and certainly in athletics, sometimes things don't work out the way you'd hope. And I'm someone who always dreams about the best for all of our programs and our kids. And when I drive around and listen to my music, I'm thinking we're going to be undefeated. But we'll see what happens the rest of the way. Kids are, like I say, are playing hard, still working hard, and hopefully some great things happen.
Any adjustments you'd like to see with the younger players, the freshmen maybe taking a step up the second half of the year to give you more hope moving forward into next year?
I never really get into, hey, Manny should be doing this,
right, yeah.
Or so-and-so should be doing that. That's really up to the coaches. My role is just to give the coaches and our student athletes the opportunity to be successful, give them the means to be able to do what needs to be done. I never say, why are we doing this, why are we doing that? That's not my role. But certainly would love to see us all play terrific in every sport, but we'll see what happens.
Some exciting news recently, though. You announced a new series with Iona for men's basketball. 4 consecutive years. You'll play a school that's not too far from here. What was the idea behind that, and how excited are you for that challenge?
What we're trying to do is make a change in the men's basketball schedule and play more local schools. So, to be upfront and honest, when we play School X from 2,500 miles away or from somewhere else. Not a lot of excitement. We're hoping, next year we have Iona, we have Columbia, we have Stony Brook. We always play Manhattan. And the year after we're going to add a couple more. And the next year we have Harvard coming too. What I'm shooting for is more people coming to the game, more excitement, rivalry games, our kids getting excited, our fans getting excited, and having a better atmosphere. I think when this place is rocking, we play better. So that's what we're trying to do.
Transition perfectly into the women's basketball team. 10-6, 2-1 in A10 play, coming off a gritty win against GW, and first time we're able to talk since Notre Dame. And this place was packed, this place was loud, it was electric. That kind of school pride, some of what you're probably trying to instill there?
Yeah, no, and as usual, our women's team is very competitive and very good. And I'm sure that at the end of the year when we go to the A10 tournament, no one's going to want to play us. Because, once again, we play great defense. Coach Gately does a great job with her game planning and everything. Our kids execute it. And when we shoot the ball well for 4 quarters, no one's beating us. But it's exciting, and hopefully our students will come out and support our student athletes and our fans. And our women draw well. I mean, we're probably one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the A10 in terms of attendance for women's basketball. And that's a credit to our student athletes and Coach Gately and everybody for what they've built here.
What are you most impressed that they've been able to achieve so far this season, coming off the Atlantic 10 title with the target on their back, per se?
I just think to kind of keep it going. And I'm pretty sure they put last year in the rearview mirror, and they're not walking around saying we're A10 champs. And they play hard, and they play great, and they don't back down to anybody, and that's great to see.
Some news regarding Fordham football, and it is the winter time. We're removed from the football season, but the All-Patriot League team announced the backfield that's returning next year. Tim DeMorat, Zach Davis, both on that team. 2 of the linebackers, Glenn Cunningham, Ryan Greenhagen. That has to make you feel excited regarding the core of this team moving forward.
No, it's great that you mentioned it. And between the first and second team, Patriot League, we had 9 student athletes make those. And the good news is they're all coming back. And I think Coach Conlin's adding probably 12 to 15 new members to the team. I mean, we only had 5 seniors, and only 2 in the 2 deep on both sides of the ball. So it bodes well for next year. I think Coach Conlin is doing it the right way, building a program. As he always says, we need to get bigger and stronger. And I think we're getting there. We got some very experienced players coming back. I mean, when you have next year, we'll have a junior quarterback who's played for 2 years in his first team All-Patriot League. That's a good way to start the year.
On to swimming and diving, 9-3 combined, 6-0 on the women's side. You have a lot of experience as a head coach in that particular sport. Is there a different lens you view it in, and more of a badge of pride when you see the program doing so well?
It's been a long time since I coached swimming, 30 years to be exact. But obviously, I feel like I know a lot about the sport. But I'm not one to say to a coach, well, why are you doing this, why are you doing that? Once again, that's not my role. And I said when I became an athletic director, I would never do that to anybody, even in the sport that I know. But I love going to watch swimming. I'll be at the meet tomorrow. Also, I was a water polo coach at one time. Love going to watch water polo and seeing what our coaches have done with that program over the last couple of years.
We've talked about different events, different fundraisers Fordham Athletics has put on in the past. Anything exciting on tap that you're most looking forward to as we embark on the next couple of months here?
Well, the big thing in February is we have our Breakfast for Champions, and we honor all of our student athletes that have an overall GPA of 3.25 or higher. And this year we'll have about 330 student athletes at that breakfast. And that's a great credit to, as I always say, our student athletes able to handle rigorous academics at a great institution and Division I athletics, which is demanding, let's face it. Once you cross the line, you decide you want to be on a team, there's a big time commitment. But I think our student athletes and our coaches and obviously our academic support people under Frank Taylor have done a great job of having our athletes focus on the total picture and, as we say, what they want to do for the rest of their lives.
Dave, appreciate you taking the time today, answered some great questions, and Happy New Year.
No, Happy New Year to you too. And once again, I want to say, really appreciate all that you do for Fordham Athletics, the way you do our play-by-play and the way you're handling yourself. And I know one of these days I'm going to be seeing you up there with on the whatever the mountain of famous WFUV sportscasters. So good luck.
That's
to
too
you
kind.
too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Thanks.